If you're watching this video, chances are you've come to the realization, or you're thinking about it, that we're living inside some kind of deliberately designed matrix that whose purpose is to harvest the negative energy through the suffering of all living beings. That's humans, animals, plants, and that is essentially energetic food for these non-physical entities. In the same way we eat physical food, they eat energetic food. Now we eat energetic food too. You see, so think about it. If you walk into a room and there is a tense energy there, somebody just got angry at somebody and everybody's kind of quiet and tense, you feel it right away. And you might find yourself contracting. On the contrast, if you walk into a room and people are smiling and laughing, it's very contagious. A smile, a laugh is one of the most contagious things. And then suddenly you're laughing, you're smiling, you feel better. So, but these non-physical entities, they don't feed on our physical food, they feed on the energetic food. And so the matrix is constructed in a way to harvest that suffering, that pain, and that's their food. So what I want to talk about in this video is, you've accepted it, or maybe you didn't accept it. You're actually maybe grieving. In fact, this video is more so if you're in the grieving state. You're grieving. You found out, you woke up to this mess. You've come across these ancient scriptures, the Gnostic scriptures and texts, and the Buddhist philosophy and the Hindu philosophy, the Eastern philosophy that says, hey, your job here is to gain liberation from samsara, which is the matrix, which is a simulation. You've watched the Matrix, you've watched the Truman Show, you've watched all these hundreds and thousands of movies and TV shows. By the way, one of the really good TV shows I highly recommend you watch is The Good Place. And so you've basically realized, you've connected the dots. Now you may say, oh, Saeed, come on, it's movies, man. If you believe in this stuff, you believe in Santa, right? Look, when you do your research on all of this and you connect all these different dots, right? Like, you're not just looking at it from one perspective. You're checking these ancient scriptures. You're watching these hundreds and thousands of movies and TV shows that keep dropping the same hints over and over and over. And then you come to realize, you connect all these different dots and say, wow, man, they got us by the balls, don't they? We are in this matrix. We are here as slaves, as Morpheus tells Neo, and we just feed this matrix, these archons, I believe that's what the Gnostics called them. We feed them our suffering and pain. The whole thing is designed so you suffer and you're in pain. So, man, I'm grieving here. I'm angry. I'm frustrated. What do I do? Fuck this place. I hate it. I look around me and all I see is suffering, suffering, suffering. My own suffering, other people's suffering. I mean, that's what the Buddha realized, right? The Buddha, he goes into the jungle. The Buddha was a rich guy. He was born into royalty. And so he was sheltered in like a palace. He was a prince. But he goes out and he sees a dying man. He sees a sick man. He sees an old man that's sick and suffering. He sees all this stuff that he's been sheltered from his whole life. And then he thinks about it and he's like, man, this whole place is suffering. And then he looks at himself and he says, I'm suffering too because I'm going to lose everything. See, he looked at himself and he said, oh, wow, I'm okay for now, but I'm going to lose it all, just like all these people around me. I'm going to get old. I'm going to get sick. I'm going to die. So he goes into the jungle. He stays there for some time. He's all by himself. And then he sees through the whole thing. Wow, there's so much suffering. So much suffering. The whole place is suffering. And our purpose is to liberate ourselves from that suffering. So now you realize all of that, but you're angry. You're frustrated. You're bitter. Whether it's bitterness through your own life or the lives of people around you. And chances are, it's both of them. Maybe your mom is sick. Your dad is sick. Maybe you're also struggling financially. Maybe you're struggling to have meaningful relationships because everyone around you is fake. Maybe you struggle to find some kind of meaning, some kind of purpose. You're depressed. so many different ways to suffer. And chances are you're suffering, I'm suffering, and people around you are suffering. Now, even in my most and your most grandiose moments, those beautiful moments, you know where the suffering is? You may say, well, I'm not suffering right now. I'm perfectly fine. My health is perfectly well. I'm having a moment of perfection. But you're gonna lose it. That's the thing. That's where really the whole thing is designed to suffer. So that's why they say, be detached. So what do you do? Now, 5 minutes into this video, this is what I want to talk about. The Matrix got you by the balls. What now? What to do? What do you do? So, first thing first, I want to address the anger and the bitterness. So, it is for you guys who are already as sure as I am that this is just the truth, the way it is. You know what I'm talking about. The bitterness, the anger. You feel like you've been scammed. Like, when someone scams you and then you go home and later you're like, fuck, that thing was $5, but they charged me 50. And you just feel this bitterness and anger for a second. Except for this is a much bigger frustration, much bigger anger, much bigger bitterness. What do you do about that? So, here's what I want to tell you. Back in the day when I started finding out about this stuff, and it wasn't as deep as I know it is to be now. This was like 10 years ago. And I found out, I watched The Matrix, I read a little bit about Buddhism, I looked around me at the world and saw suffering, and it was like the initial stages. So this was 10 years ago. And I started to feel really angry. And I had a 9-to-5 job at the time, and I was so sick and tired of it, but I didn't find any way out of it. And then I was so angry, man. I was so angry. Like way more angry than I sometimes get now at the whole thing. Like really angry to the point where, this is what I want to tell you. I got a punching bag in my house. It was a necessity, guys. It was a necessity. That's how angry I was. I was like freaking watching The Matrix every week. Like, not every week, once a month at least. Right? I've seen I've seen that movie that 1 year so many times because I was just so frustrated, angry. I realized I've been scammed. I was 23 at the time or something like that. And I was like, man, I've been scammed. And then I look at my life. I'm working this 9-to-5. I'm sick and tired of it. And I had to get a punching bag out of necessity. So here's what I recommend you do. I'm not saying get a punching bag. But what I recommend to do when you're feeling angry about something to do with your suffering, the suffering of those around you, the way society is, how fake everything is, how everything's designed to make you struggle and suffer, do yourself a favor and go do some kind of cardio, specifically cardio. Get your breathing to go like, and do it for 20-30 minutes. Sweat. Make sure you're drenched in sweat. Make sure you're, and there are so many different ways to do this. You can go for a jog. I have a stationary bike right now. You see this? I have it now because I'm having back issues. I'll tell you about that in a second. But do something that gets you to go, right? Just breathe deeply like this. Get something to get you to sweat. Something to get you to move that blood, move that oxygen. Get yourself sweating, sweat. Just make sure you're drenched in sweat. 20-30 minutes, guarantee you. You'll feel a whole lot better after. You'll be more clear-minded. Now, I'm making this video out of the heat of the moment because this rising today, when I woke up, I felt angry because I'm having these back issues now for the last few months, and it's hard to walk, it's hard to do basic things, so I can't jog. There's no way I can jog. That's why I have a stationary bike. And I felt really angry that I'm suffering and my life is sort of on hold because of it. And I just want to get better and get on with it. But I felt angry that it's taken longer than I thought. So I think, wow, this fucking Matrix, you're always suffering or struggling with something. And so what do? I know I have to go on the bike now. I have to I have to sweat. I just finished. Actually, I'm making this video right after I finished. And I feel calmer, more clear-headed. And now I can focus on the liberation part. So you don't want to deny the anger. You don't want to deny the bitterness. That's all absolutely totally natural, normal response to how fucked up things are. Okay, you gotta feel the bitterness, and it's may go away and come back for some time. It may go away for a year and come back when maybe, let's say, you've had a pretty spectacular year, and then something happens. I don't know. There's always something gonna happen, right? Not just to you, but to those around you, those you love. That will cause as much pain and suffering in you, if not more, the suffering and the pain of your loved ones. So, whenever you feel anger, whenever you feel bitterness, say, well, I mean, is there any other more natural response to the way things are? You say, okay, fine. I'm going to release that anger. I'm going to release that frustration because I want to focus on liberation, on the solution. That's the key thing here. You want to focus on the solution to the problem rather than the problem and how it affects you and affects everything. So you feel the bitterness, you feel the anger, then I recommend, you can go take a cold shower. That works fantastic. I just found, even in the cold shower, you go like, so this is what I'm trying to emphasize to you here. Get breathing like this, get sweating, get moving, go for a long walk. But I recommend something that gets you, it could be low impact cardio, low impact, just a little jog for 30 minutes. Get your sweat on, get your blood moving, and get your breathing, get oxygenated. Trust me, you'll feel more clear-headed. And then now we focus on the solution. So in my case right now, the solution is I'm a creator, man. I'm a healer. Just like Jesus was going around healing people like instantaneously. And just like this, put his hands on people. He was in touch. He was with the Father, right? He was one with the Father. He could pass and channel that spiritual energy, that loving, healing energy. And so that's why he was going around. He was a miracle worker. That's what a miracle worker is. You're a miracle worker. I'm a miracle worker. But these emotions of anger, bitterness, frustration are actually part of the design of the Matrix. They don't care if you find out about this stuff as long as you're angry and bitter about it. And if you look through the truth movements, God bless them all. We should all support one another. You will see a lot of bitterness in those movements. And I don't ever blame them for a second for that bitterness. Not for a second. It's the only natural, it's almost the right response. Almost, but not quite. The right response to the whole thing. But it's not the right response. It's the natural response, it's the normal response, but it's not the right response. The right response is to not ignore these feelings, but to release them. If you have other ways to release them, other than, doing cardio or movement or exercise, cold showers, blah, blah, do it as long as you genuinely release them. Then you're clear-headed, you're calm, you're more in the moment, and you can focus your thoughts on the things you want to happen. Because if you have the power of focus in your mind, and you can laser focus on a certain set of thoughts, in my case, healing. I visualize myself, I'm now doing normal things, I'm walking, I'm exercising again, like proper exercising, lifting weights, doing push-ups, pull-ups, all that kind of stuff. And if I focus on it long enough, for days and weeks, I shift my whole reality. Regardless of what the Matrix wants me to suffer, I can change that. That's a beautiful thing. And so one of the things you want to keep in mind, they need your consent for everything. Nobody's been forced to come here. I will die on that hill. It seems like they forced us to come here, but they didn't. They tricked us. Watch out for the next video. I'm going to post a video and I'll discuss it from Star Trek. I'll post the link, not the link, I'll actually post the video itself so you can watch it. And I want to discuss it a little bit. One of the things I want to discuss is consent. They need your consent. So basically, by coming here, we consented. We were given what they call life scripts, but somehow tricked into accepting them, right? But we can change. See, everything they do is to suppress our power of creation. And that's what folks like Buddha, Jesus came here to show us. They came to, I mean, what did Jesus tell people? He said, you will do these things and you will do greater things than I. That's what he told them. You will do greater things than I. People were looking at him saying he's an alien. He's just supernatural. I can't do what he does. Yes, you can. You just gotta train yourself. And you see all these folks. One of the things they done, the Buddha, the Jesus, they go out in the wilderness. You know, but what Jesus was there for 40 days or some shit. He was there. He was fasting. He was one with the Father. He became one with the Father. He unlocked his abilities. Now, am I saying you do that? Am I saying I do that? Man, I don't want to do that. It's a little too much, to be honest. But if we awaken only 10, 20% of those powers, we can at least create not a place devoid of suffering, but a more pleasant experience. It's hard to have a life devoid of suffering when you're living in a matrix like that perpetuates suffering and struggle. However, we can make our experience more pleasant. We can heal ourselves physically, emotionally, psychologically, all these things. But we gotta focus, man. It's not easy. This is all easier said than done. Hey, I'm in front of you here, and if I have obtained those powers, I wouldn't be telling you my back still hurts. I wouldn't be telling you that. So, but it still hurts. Okay, but hey, if I am able to focus, and if I am able to let go of my anger and bitterness towards the suffering, the inherent suffering of existence on this matrix, then we're a step closer to unlocking at least some of our powers. I'm not saying go ahead and start doing telekinesis and start putting your hands on yourself and people and healing them instantaneously. Man, if you can do that, salute to you. I salute you for that. Keep doing what you're doing. However, we can still unlock even a bit of those powers. And maybe not heal ourselves instantaneously, but maybe over a period of weeks, of months, through serious focus, one-mindedness, and that requires letting go of the bitterness and the anger. And all of that, everything I said is easier said than done. It requires persistence, it requires faith, it requires knowing that this is the way it is. You gotta know the truth. Once you have the doubt, see, the doubt is like you know when you plant a seed and you're trying to grow a tree? The doubt is like a fungus that grows and prevents that tree from growing. It rots it. That's what doubt is. Doubt is to your mind and your innate God abilities is what rot is, fungus is to tree. And I know some fungus actually helps, but I'm talking about the one specifically that rots the tree and prevents the seed from manifesting and becoming a tree. See? So that's what it is. And so in order to do all of that, you gotta dedicate yourself to this stuff, man. Like it has to be a full-time job. You have to monitor your thoughts full-time, and you have to give yourself the command, hey, this is what we're only believing, this is what we're only thinking, this is the only reality that I accept in my life. In my case, at this particular moment of making this video, is perfect alignment in my back, no pain at all, perfectly able to carry on all normal activities in life without any issues. In my particular case, at this particular moment. In your case, apply it, take it, whatever it is. You gotta be single-minded, you've gotta be persistent with your effort. I mean, look, like I said, this is all easier said than done. It's literally full-time job. And if this stuff ain't working and you say, man, I've tried, it ain't working, I'm telling you, it's probably because you need to literally dedicate your entire existence to it. You need to think 24/7. One of the things I want to talk about more in detail is before sleep. That period is so powerful to speak to your subconscious and tell it what it is you want to create. So in order to beat this matrix, we focus on all the available powers that we have, and believe me, they are immense, to liberate ourselves, to create a more pleasant experience for us, for our loved ones, those around us, and those who want to listen to us, and those who know the way things are. Trust me. So let's all keep going on this path. Please remember, it's a full-time thing. It's not as easy as saying, well, okay, that's it, man. I said this to myself for like 10 minutes, but it didn't work. It's not like that, especially through a lifetime of brainwashing, through a lifetime of negative experiences. We've all had them. We have a lot of doubts in our mind. That's it. Watch out for my next video, because I do want to talk about the whole concept of consent, and I'm going to use a Star Trek clip, very powerful clip to discuss it. That's about it. I will see you guys in the next video.